how was Colin about the whole situation? Because I know sometimes, I know obviously Colin's a good guy and everything, but like I also know that, when you're faced with something like that, it's kind of like, was he open arms about it, or was there hesitation? I guess, like how did that conversation go? Like, because it's a tough one, man. Like when you're running a successful team, right? Like, which Team Oyama is, like, he's got a lot of successes. You can sometimes go, listen, I see what you're trying to do. I like the kid in person, but like it just doesn't gel with what my team is doing right now. How was Colin when you approached him?
Colin is someone where if you ask a lot of people, he really has this hard exterior, and he'll get mad that I'm telling you this. But the truth of the matter is, he's a softie at heart. That really is Colin. Colin has one of the biggest hearts I've ever seen. If it wasn't for Colin and Jiva, I would have no place in this business. Colin was the one, I call him my fight daddy. He took me in under his wing. He always looked after me. He always protected me. And at the time when I was 24 out of law school, I probably had nothing to offer Colin, right? I'm just a kid. And he's like, hey, come here. I'm going to show you how to manage these guys. He really did a lot. So when I came out, I really didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I wasn't sure he was going to say, hey, man, we got a real good nucleus right now. I don't want to mess this up. Or if he's going to say, hey, bring him on in. Hesitate. He's like, man, bring him on in. Let's get to work. Let's get him back on track. I see so much potential in this young man. I've always loved Lewis. Let's get this ball rolling. And he did. He showed Lewis a ton of tough love. He rode Lewis every day. He was on Lewis. And, the reason why we had 3 wins in 10 months leading into getting back into the UFC was because of Colin. Colin wouldn't let him out of his sight, kept him in the gym. You win on Saturday, get your butt back in there on Monday, back to work, back to winning. Let's go. And, Colin went out was at all his fights, and some of these fights were very low level regional show events, just to get Lewis back on his feet. And Colin was there every step of the way. And I'm forever grateful to have that moment. China, we win this. We're backstage. It's me, Colin, and Lewis. Like, emotional just thinking about it. I feel like sometimes Colin doesn't get enough credit for what he did at that moment. He really didn't get enough credit for taking Lewis and getting him back on track. He really did a solid for us. And even now, like he still rides Lewis. He texts me. You have a group chat. Lewis, where are you? Running late. Where are you at? He's always on Lewis, and I kind of look at Lewis as like his son a little bit. You know what I mean? He always have had a special place for Lewis in his heart.
And the rest of the team was receptive too. And was there ever a moment that when you say they were riding Lewis, what do you think there was ever a moment where I guess it was getting too tough for Lewis, or was he head down, let's do this?
I'll be honest. Lewis would come home some days and he'd be like, "Dude, I'm so sore. Like I literally can barely move." He was days where he was hurting, but he never once complained. He never once did anything. And the team was great. Cheeto, Alex Perez, all the guys at that gym, Christian Aguilera, they rode Lewis too. Hey man, come on, let's go. Like, I think when you have a good culture like that at a gym, everyone rises, right? Everyone's uplifted. Everyone's on every, and that's one thing I've always known at Colin's gym. Everyone's going to get better. And I think a lot for Lewis and friends, right? He made good relationships with these guys to hang out, go. He's homesick from his family. It was good to have that camaraderie to get him back on track.
Yeah, I mean, Colin. I mean, as I mentioned to you, I met you in 2015. I think I met Colin the year before, or potentially even the year before that. Yeah. I don't even know when that was, but when he came across to Australia for Ian McCall, when the UFC had the flyweight tournament, and the same thing. He was real open to the idea of letting us in. Like, he didn't know who we are. We're just a couple of Aussies, right? And he was like, "No, look, you guys can come on in." And it was a real eye-opener for us too, and I appreciate the fact. I mean, I had some really good times in that fight week with the whole team. I mean, Romy was there too, and it was fun times.